Hello, this is Austin from the Lukewarm Cinema Podcast, and you're listening to the BS Podcast Network.
Hey man, what up? You're listening to the Magic Our Way Podcast with your hosts, Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Lee, man. These are some good old boys from New Orleans, and you should just kick back, open your ear holes, and listen, man. Have fun. JMU saying, snooch to the dooch.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way Podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante San, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way Podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana, in the United States of America. We are artistic buffs talking about Disney stuff. And this is a show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us for this episode. We are discussing the beginning of The Mandalorian Season 2. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
And on this show, we follow the Disney concept of edutainment, where we focus on your entertainment, and along the way, you just might learn a thing or two.
Hey.
And as always, to join in our discussion, we have our resident comic genius from ivorycomics.com, Mr. Eli Avery. How you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing good and relaxed. How you guys doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well.
Always a pleasure to hear that. Be out with y'all to chit chat.
Always good to see you, sir.
Yes, always looking forward to sharing out the spontaneity and the creativity. Yes, sir.
Beautiful, beautiful. And a guy that we always love hearing from, not necessarily see all the time, is our resident travel agent from Magical Moments Vacations, the Shaggy TA Lee Lastavica. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. I'm just thinking about a certain Magic Kingdom attraction that's going to be renovated soon. I'm looking forward to visiting on my next vacation.
When's your next vacation?
I don't know, but whenever it is, that particular attraction is going to be renovated, so I'm going to jump on it.
So you've been hoarding money all this time. You like, I've been making nothing. You've been hoarding money for a vacation. You slick son of a gun.
No, man. I'm just going to figure it out. That's all. One way or another, I'm gonna get there.
I'll bite. What is this attraction that you're referring to?
HOP?
Hall of Presidents.
Oh, that's true. You're right. It will go down, I guess.
Are you down with HOP?
Yeah, you know me. Good place to take a nap all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the show will be much more entertaining now.
Really? Yeah. Oh man, it depends on what the past president will say. If he says stuff like, if I could have control of that animatronic, he would say a lot more entertaining stuff that I'm sure they allow him to say.
You know what would be fun, though? It's like, because this is probably going to drag on for a while, because Trump ain't going to let it go.
Of course not.
You know that's going to happen. So wouldn't it be fun if they had a Biden animatronic and a Trump, and they kept interrupting each other throughout the entire Hall of Presidents presentation?
Can Kanye slowly walk up and
that would be great, too.
And you know, they all got that sensor, so they when one talks, the other ones look at each other. So yeah, they just keep staring at each other every time one is talking. Like, you cut me off, that clown.
But just to let the Mohicans know, and I know from my end, regarding the storm, we did fine. We made it through. We lost power. Everybody else okay?
Yeah.
As of now, yes. It took me a while. Yes,
it took you a while.
Yes,
you're probably the last one to get.
And thanks to my brother over here, Danny, he took care of me. I ain't had power for a bit, but his family was very nice to let me stay and camp out. Have my clothes washed and everything until I could get everything back up in online. So yeah, absolutely.
Nice. And I know Lee wasn't affected, but I'm sure you're okay, right? You were emotionally invested in us.
Yes, absolutely. I was hanging on by a thread. I was following the threads on the Facebook there, just making sure that you guys made it through it all right.
And Fat City Studios has made it through unscathed, it looks like, I think.
Yeah, well, the air conditioning keeps going in and out for whatever stupid reason, but other than that.
And one other thing I want to talk about in the intro is I got a chance to try the Disney Plus group watch thing. Have y'all tried that thing yet?
No.
What is this?
Yeah, if you notice, when you go into Disney Plus, they have a little icon by these shows that have looks like three little beings in a circle, and so that's the symbol for group watch. And basically the idea is supposed to be like Netflix's like party watch thing, or like premiere watch on YouTube or something like that, where everybody, you and I guess 6 of your friends can watch like say a show like The Mandalorian together.
And what, y'all type back and forth to one another or something?
Well, that's the funny part, right? So I'm going to go on record as saying, yeah, group watch is very underwhelming for me. You know?
Okay.
Basically, the idea is that it's going to sync the stream so that we're all watching the same scenes at the same time. And the syncing worked. However, there is no way to communicate with the other people in your group watch other than the use of reaction emojis. And that's it.
You post a emoji on your Disney Plus app.
Yeah, there's a little screen. It comes up and you press whatever reaction you want to do to whatever scene's happening. It does pop up on the TV screen for like a fleeting second, but then that's it. You can't chat. You can't do anything. It's not like Facebook where you can chat while you're watching the video. There's nothing of that.
That's probably because Disney doesn't want you writing. This sucks.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, I mean, there is truth in advertising. You said it was called Group Watch. It just meant for the group to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I shouldn't have assumed anything else.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up.
I know. But to me, if y'all haven't tried it, I'm curious to see what you guys think. But it was very underwhelming for me.
Okay.
Yeah, no, based on your review, I think I'm good.
Yeah. I call it calling somebody up on the phone and saying, "Did you see the show?" That's what I would.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else out there in Mohican land had the experience with the group watch, but for me, I'll pass it up.
I don't think I would. I would talk to somebody after I watched the show by myself, me personally, because my fear of that show would be like, let's say somebody was excited about the group watch, but watched the show before they did the group watch. So then, like, while you on the group watch and you watch it for the first time, there's some other person
Like,
says,
"Ooh, I love this part. I love
like,
that
this the part where he just go ahead and do this." And you're like, "Man, you spoiled it." And you can't punch him in the face because they somewhere else in their house.
No, but you can send a reaction, an angry emoji.
Yeah, well, that's intimidating.
Well, how do they know that you're angry at them as opposed to being angry at the movie?
Everybody.
That's true.
This is true.
You ain't got no headset to say, "God dang you."
Maybe your wife's yelling at you at the moment, and you can't express that in any other way.
You're right. It's bizarre, to say the
All
least.
right.
That's my 2 cents on the Disney Plus group watch.
So don't watch Group Watch.
You try it. Don't take my word for it, but do take my word for it.
I'm going to take your word for it.
All right, thank you.
I trust you.
Because unless they improve it, I don't think I'll be watching.
Not
using
worth
that.
watching the group watch.
No, I'd rather just sync all our TVs together while we watch it and talk on the phone or something.
Shoot, I
Yeah.
can't even agree with my wife on what to watch, let alone 6 friends.
Well, guys, a couple of things to keep in mind. We do have that Amazon shop as the holidays are rolling near, so make sure you support us and buying some things through there. And also make sure you check out our YouTube channel where we got Cooking with Magic. It's going to be happening, so make sure you subscribe to that so you can get all the yummy goodness that Lee likes to cook. And today, as I stated at the top of the show, we are discussing The Mandalorian Season 2, beginning with episodes 1 and 2, because that's all we've watched so far. And that's all that's available. We will discuss also how we feel about the start of the next series of chapters and much, much more. So enough of my jibber jabber. Let's go discuss some Mandalorian magic. Mohicans, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in the hub. And a year later has passed, and we will be discussing The Mandalorian Season 2, episodes number 1 and 2. Speaking of a year passing, let's discuss this real quickly, all right? Now, on November 12th, which is the day after the show comes out, Disney Plus and The Mandalorian will turn a year old in the United States.
Happy time.
How about that?
Yes, sir. Guys, look, Disney Plus launched on November 12th, 2019, and The Mandalorian was a launch day or opening day release, to put it in park terms. So I ask y'all this. What are y'all thoughts after having experienced Disney Plus for a year now?
Yeah.
You mean Artemis Fowl wasn't enough to give...
No, the Disney Imagineering series has been the highlight.
You mean Mulan hasn't been enough to...
I haven't. Is it free yet?
Yeah, is it free?
Oh, we got less than a month.
I gotta put it on my calendar.
Yes,
Yeah.
I got to do that. We'll review that then.
Yeah. I like the nostalgic cartoons that I get to watch.
It was
some of
so
the Marvel
easy
stuff.
when we did Gravity Falls. It was so easy to catch up on Gravity Falls.
I love that, actually. Well, my kids watched the entire of that. My kids watched all of Jesse and Bunked and Raven.
Yeah, my daughter had me watch Raven. We watched that for nostalgia and Sweet Lock of Zach
Sweet,
and
yes,
Cody. We did that. We had that nostalgic period.
Artemis Fowl was really the lowest point. Timmy Failure. Timmy Failure was another one we watched, which was good.
Yes, good one.
I did enjoy Timmy Failure. I wasn't over the moon about it, obviously. I thought it could have been better. But, I mean, Artemis Fowl was the lowest point. Mandalorian has been decent.
Oh, yeah. I'm the same way. Disney Plus, it's been nice to have access to all those things that the Disney has to offer. But, you know.
Not enough original content. The Mandalorian is aggravating just because you just can't watch it. You know, there's this whole release one episode every so often. We'll get into it when we get into the Mandalorian, I'm sure. But it's good, and I guess it's good for the price that I paid for it because I did the 3-year bundle thing.
I did the 3-year thing too, yes.
It has not been a weekly fixture.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
in my viewing.
That's the best way to say it. Like, I just thought I was going to be sitting down every week watching all these Disney cartoons and reliving my childhood. And it's like, man, you know, either way, there's still only so many hours in the day to watch TV. You know, I paid a great price for it. It was free because I have Verizon. So, you know, I've definitely got my money's worth out of it. But like the renewal came up, and I'm like, I can't. Like when Chad Bosewick passed away, it was cool to be able to just sit down, throw on Black Panther, you know, because I didn't own it on DVD or Blu-ray or anything, I could just throw it on there and watch it. So that was great, you know, things like that. But it's not like it's part of my weekly routine to watch something on Disney Plus. Yet we watch something on Netflix pretty much at least once a week. My wife watches something on Hulu at least once a week. So like we talked about earlier, like if I had to do a budget cut right now, you know, Disney Plus might be on that budget cut. You know, I mean, it wouldn't be really for me personally because I participate in the Disney podcast, so it's probably not. You know, it's a decent investment, you know, to be part of the show. But if I didn't do this podcast, would I actually, you know, that would probably be the first one I considered on the chopping block.
I couldn't agree more. Like most of the movies Disney-wise that I love and I love to watch, I already own
it. Yes.
Yeah. There's not enough park-centric stuff, and the stuff that they do have is like kind of like Travel Channel stuff I've kind of seen before. The Imagineering documentary is really the one thing that put it over the top. But I was going to ask Eli, what would you say you'd be most excited to see? The 3rd season of Cobra Kai or the 2nd season of The Mandalorian?
I take option A.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. I would say the only thing I've really used Disney Plus for is to have background noise playing, like when I did the Hulk thing. I was doing the research. I had like the Hulk cartoon playing like on Disney Plus, but I wanted to play Hulk Versus. It was like an animated short where Hulk goes against Wolverine and then he goes against Thor, but that wasn't on Disney Plus. It was actually on like Hulu or something like that. But yeah, and nostalgic cartoons is about it. But yeah, I would be more excited for Cobra Kai than I would the 2nd season of Mandalorian. Not to say the Mandalorian is terrible, but I bought Sensei Kreese.
Did you do the year by year, or you did the 3-year thing? I did the 3-year thing.
No, I did year by year.
You did year, okay.
Yeah.
Did you renew up? Because I'm sure it's up sometime soon.
They haven't come to me yet. I mean, of course,
I'm not going to pay unless they say.
Yeah, you got. That's how I work. I pay a lot of people, so you got to tell me when it's up. Now, of course, yeah, like, you know, I do this podcast, so of course I'm gonna redo it. I wouldn't consciously pick it, do it, and I think like the Mulan thing is a perfect example. As an artist that does Project Geisha, that would be a very inspiring thing for me to see. Because that's basically like kind of like watching your character without it being your character come to life on the screen. And then to be told, yeah, I know you're a subscriber, but you got to pay this premium access. Like, no, premium access is for somebody who doesn't subscribe to your service. And then you have them pay. But I've already paid you this more than every month.
Well, if you're like me and Dan, we paid 3 years for this.
You pay, 3 times.
We can't get that perk.
You're supposed to get all the access.
Shoot,
dude. Yeah, I've been really disappointed with the way that they've rolled this out.
Yeah, this is a different story for a different day for sure.
Yes.
But, just to kind of pose this question, man, you know, given Disney Plus and the year that they've had, this is a year that they didn't bank on. So, you know, so Artemis Fowl was supposed to go in the theaters. Mulan was supposed to go in the theaters. Do you give them any leeway for what they've done so far?
Do we give them any what? What'd you say?
Leeway. Based upon the year that they've had, like nobody predicted the lockdown and all that kind of stuff.
I don't give them any leeway because one, they already have a model. No.
Itty bitty leeway.
No.
Little leeway?
No leeway. Because like
Eli's giving zero leeway.
Zero.
Crystal Light.
Zero.
You know what? I'll give them 5%.
Coke Zero.
5%,
5% leeway.
That's more percent than you give 'em for losing the Magic at the pump.
See, Eli, you're saying Coke Zero.
I say Coke Zero only
Okay.
because there's already been a streaming model established with Netflix and Hulu and God knows what else, and so they knew exactly what they were dealing with. They knew that they had all this content.
They knew the market they were getting into.
Exactly, and so they have a lot more stuff that they could put on, but the stuff that's out doesn't apply to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I get it. They have Marvel content and there's Star Wars, but Danny's like you said, I own most of that stuff.
Yeah, we already own these movies on VHS. You sold to us on DVD.
Yes.
We got them on Blu-ray.
We got them, and like, you know, maybe I can say maybe once every 5th month, I actually watch it. I mean, like I said, my daughter had an urge once to put on, you know, Raven and Zack and Cody, and then we sat there and like she watched some of it and fell asleep, and I was like, I wasn't into this when you were young. I was doing this for you. I'm done. I'm checking this off. So no, I give them zero leeway.
I give them a little leeway.
I'm about to say, Danny, you give him a little leeway. What you
little
got?
leeway. At first, I was with Eli, and I was like, no leeway. But I will give them a little leeway from the standpoint that they did have a rich body of material to contribute day one. You got just about everything that they could legally give you. And let's not forget, it took Netflix a while before they started really producing great original content. You know, same thing with Amazon, same thing with a lot of people. So a little bit of leeway. Now, having said that, you're right, that this model was created. They should have known you're jumping into this. Come on, you're appealing to Disney fans. We've already seen these movies. We own these movies. Give us a little something. And they did with The Mandalorian, and they did with the Imagineering series. And not so much since the launch until this new Mandalorian season 2 came out. Everything in between there has kind of been a disappointment.
Yeah, and again, I know we're going to get into The Mandalorian, but let's just use that as an example, as a segue, if you will.
Just to kind of talk about it, I'm the same way with Danny. I give a little bit of leeway.
Like 5% leeway?
5% leeway. You know, I'll give them the fact, you know, me and my family, we like the National Geographic stuff.
So each person in your family, though, watches it at some point.
Yeah, each person in my family watches a point. So there's some good stuff there. Even though Animal Kingdom series is all about their trying to get their animals to have sex and reproduce. That's kind of weird, but whatever.
Yeah, no.
You know,
when I saw it, I'm like, cool, behind it.
Yes.
Oh, no.
I watched the entire thing. Me and my family watched the damn thing, and in the back of my head, I'm like, they just want their animals to
It's like Clerks. Yeah, I manually masturbate
Yes.
towards animals for artificial
Absolutely.
I know it's tough to watch those shows because I'm like, man, they get more action than me. And they getting filmed and paid for
I'm
it.
glad I warned you then.
Thank you. Now I got to watch it.
Kevin said that, you know, my dog Julie is a golden retriever. Kevin said that he would, like, I said, look, you can have her. He's like, well, no, if she ever has babies, I would take that. And granted, we got her when she was a puppy because my wife's boss was breeding those babies. And I was like, that just seems wrong. Like, I don't even want to watch when my dog's going to the bathroom. I got to look away. Now I got to make sure some other dog, and I got to watch to make sure they're doing, oh, man, no.
But that's the thing with the Animal Kingdom series is like the people, the handlers are sitting there watching them, making sure that they get along with each other. They have
That's
a relationship, and they're going to bow, chicka, bow, wow, you know, kind of
wow,
stuff. You know,
really?
They're like handing the gorilla flowers.
Yes.
Give her.
porcupines, anteaters, zebras.
So they're
It's
like the
okay.
Cyrano de Bergerac to animals.
Yeah, yeah, it's
kingdom of
interesting.
love.
Yes,
Oh,
it's
that's-
nothing but Animal Kingdom love.
That never works. Like, you know, arranged marriages and arranged relationships, they don't work.
Well, that's what Disney's banking on.
I'm
that's
just
crazy.
picturing in the background, like they're showing, and here comes the antelope, and she's approaching the female antelope, and like in the background, you hear, oh, whoa, 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 like the Tarzan. Yeah.
Yeah, so Lee, tell us what you think, sir.
I'll give him the leeway, little leeway, maybe some leeway. But no, the thing is, like, I got the little email that said, oh, your Disney Plus is about to expire. And I'm like, well, I know I got to renew it, but golly, I don't really want. And then there's like, but season 2's coming, Mandalorian. I'm like, oh, man. Yeah, I got to keep it now for sure. Because it was just, I was looking forward to it, man. I mean, and I we'll get into the show, but I enjoyed it, but I agree with Danny. Like, I wish I could just binge it all at one time because it just flows better that way. But, either way, that was one thing. That was one thing that, like, I definitely, when I knew it was coming back, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm definitely keeping it.
All right, so look, let's talk about season 2 of The Mandalorian. Just to let the listeners know, the series started up again on Friday, October 30th, 2020 in the United States of America, and will run for a total of 8 episodes, much like it did at season 1.
It's only 8 episodes?
Only 8 episodes. How about I was surprised to see how short it was.
I've seen work. Thank you. You know what? Cobra Kai, definitely.
There you go.
Yes, I would 8 episodes like
the Ocho.
No, that's
it.
I'm gonna wait.
That's all you're getting. You're getting to the end of the year, and that's it.
I'm keeping quiet for a second, but that's not good.
Trifling.
I'm about to curse, but that's not for what you have to pay. Go on, bro.
All right. So, look, listeners, just to let you know, we'll be doing a similar review as we had done a year ago for season 1, in which we'll give you a quick review of how the season begins, and then we'll, at the end, after we watched all 8 episodes, we'll give you a review about how the season ended and how it progressed. And guys, you can find the discussions of season 1 on shows number 297 and 303. So far, we have experienced 2 episodes: Chapter 9, The Marshal, and Chapter 10.
Chapter thin?
It was kind of thin.
Let me try it again.
You're going to keep that high? I hope so.
What you drinking tonight, Kevin?
The good stuff.
No, we're drinking that Proper 12 again.
Oh, that was a good joke. Damn it.
Yes, I'll keep it in there. Look, I'll admit that I'm a little lispy, but whatever. Look, we also watched Chapter 9, The Marshal, and Chapter 10, The Passenger, both of which combined, I like to call Mandalorian the Chamber of Secrets. And I'll explain that later.
Okay.
For you Harry Potter fans, you could probably figure what I'm talking about here.
I'm a Harry Potter. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't know what you're getting at.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear that.
Yeah,
okay.
we'll talk about it when we get to this. But look.
Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. I got it.
Yes, there you go.
Okay.
But first, like we do with all our reviews, let's do a quick spoiler-free episode for those that have listened to this far and want to know what we think about the beginning of this season and how it started. So here we go. Who wants to go first? Quick spoiler free, and then we'll get into the spoilers.
I'm going to be quick and easy, man. I'll be quick and easy.
Lee's going to be quick and easy, so here we go, Lee.
I like it just as much as I liked The Mandalorian last year. You know, is it the greatest show ever? You know, no, but it was entertaining. It had a lot of cool stuff, cool ships, cool fights. It just was fun to watch. You know, it's nothing earth shattering. It's not going to, change my life in any way, but after the last 4 years of my life, it's nice just to sit down and be entertained.
Okay.
So take it for what it is, man. It's just a fun show to watch, and it's got cool spaceships and costumes.
Okay. Well, let me go. So, as far as the
no one's stopping you.
Yeah, you're right. Proper 12. All right. So look,
it's a fighter's drink.
I love. It is. No, look. Look. This is the second season. And this is a continuation of the story. And based on how it's going so far, episode 1, I can give it a pass. Episode 2, I'm like, all right, let's get back to the arc. At some point, somehow, please. Do I think they started out strong? I don't think they started out as strong as I think they should have. No knock on Jon Favreau, who I know wrote those episodes. But I think to connect last season to this season, I don't necessarily need a Darksaber connection. I want to know that there's some progress towards him getting him back to his kind. Because I can't think that this entire this entire series of Mandalorian shows is nothing but him getting the baby back to his kind. I hope to God that we resolve it at some point and then he moves it on to some other story arc. And I'll leave it at that and we'll get into the discussion a little bit later. That's my thoughts. I didn't think this was as strong of a start as I thought they should have done. All right. Next.
I would say this really quick. The first episode was looking forward to. They gave me a sense of nostalgia that I gotta admit put me over the moon. I'll explain that later. So that's probably why I like that one maybe a lot more than most of y'all did. The second episode didn't really need that. Totally did. Not the worst episode.
Well, so you're talking about all the episodes that they had so far. That's not the worst episode.
That's not the worst episode. We could easily talk, because I know it's not a spoiler. We talked about in the first season.
And Eli, it's fair because the way they're chaptering the numbers, it's a continuation of last season.
It's a total continuation.
This is chapter 9 and 10. So, yeah, this is the whole gamut of the story.
It's a whole gamut. And so, like, the one with Ming-Na Wen and all that, that's probably still one of the worst ones. But this one was I didn't like it.
You didn't like the aliens reference or any of that? No.
I thought that was neat, but I know we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
But there were parts I was like, the second episode of the second season, I was like, oh, this has some potential. And then it fell kind of flat. And then I was like, I'm good with the ending. I was like, But the only saving grace, I will honestly say, is that I told my daughter the night before that I was going to watch it. She had never heard of it. And I was like, you know who Baby Yoda is? And
she never heard of The Mandalorian?
She never heard of The Mandalorian, but she knew who Baby Yoda was. And I was like, well, I'm going to watch the show for the podcast with the show with Baby Yoda. She's like, well, that show just sounds stupid. She had never seen any episodes. And so I was like, all right, cool. Well, she came in while I was watching. And so she sat watching. It was a cool bonding moment. You know, if you have a 21-year-old, you know how tough it is to really bond at this point. And so actually, by the time she finished watching the second episode, I was like, I'm done. She actually was like, could you put on the first season so I could watch it? I was like, damn, your timing's great.
She wants to watch the whole thing?
Yes. Okay. When I left the house, she was on the third episode. You know, when he gives Baby Yoda back.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I love that episode.
So I was like, damn it, like, why your timing sucks? Like, I would have loved to have watched it with you from the beginning, see what you thought about it, and then have that conversation.
That would have been good,
yeah.
But as an aside, I love that episode just to watch the Mandalorians kick ass.
Oh yeah, it was cool to watch again. That part was cool to watch again. But anyway, as far as this one, there was some nostalgia in the first episode. The second season we're talking about, there was some nostalgia there that put me over the moon, made me like that one. Second one, yeah, and I'm with you. I would like to see more, but yeah.
I got you. All right, so let's go over to Danny. Danny, non-spoiler thoughts about how the beginning of this season is going, based upon the first two episodes that we have just seen. And he giggles.
I tried. I tried to give you some time, babe.
No, but I think this is his natural reaction.
It is.
I feel the same way too.
You know what I want to say? I want to say that there's a lot of great Star Wars fans that listen to this podcast. And I appreciate every single one of y'all. And I know that y'all love Star Wars. And
there's a bunch of Easter eggs that were thrown at.
Right. And, I've always equated it to me with the Halloween franchise. Like, I know, like, there's Halloween movies that, I just love the content. So I'll see it and they suck, but they're good, but they suck. So I can appreciate it on that level. Like, it's like, I just want to see more of this stuff because I'm a fan of this kind of genre. I'm a fan of the backstory of this. And I've said it 100 times by now. I'll say it 101. I was a huge Star Wars fan when I was a kid, and I watched the first trilogy, and I was satiated. I was good. I never needed to know how Darth Vader got to be how he was. Once, I mean, look, I would have been, if 3 years after Return of the Jedi, they wanted to make a whole new set of Star Wars movies, I would have been front and center, like all geeked out, ready to see where Han, Luke, and Leia. I didn't need another trilogy to where Han, Luke, and Leia anointed a new group to move forward. I just didn't need all that stuff. So having said all that, and I'm working to a point here, I'm just trying to figure out, I guess, how to phrase this as carefully as I can. I understand that there are people out there who just give me Star Wars. Give me the spaceships, give me the atmosphere, give me the music, give me the mood, give me the characters, give me the nostalgia, give me that.
Take me back.
Yeah, and I'm going to like this. Yeah, I'm 60% going to like this before I even see it. So I totally understand that mentality.
Having said
yes. I was thinking the same thing.
If you're playing the drinking game at home, he did say having said that. So drink up.
Listeners, believe me, Kevin is playing the drinking game in the studio.
I'm right there with him, too.
Having said that, yes, this new season, I am hoping that it's like the last season where when the third one hit, I'm like, this is, we're going someplace here. And I got reinvigorated with the series. The first two episodes, I felt like the first one of last year really kind of set the tone. Okay, this is what's going to happen. I still don't feel like I have a story arc that in any way has me invested in trying to figure out what's going to happen this year. Like the whole thing of we're just trying to get this kid back to his kind, I don't buy it. Because the minute he gives the kid back, this show's over. So I don't buy that that's where this is going. There was a cameo at the end of the first one where I'm like, okay, I sincerely doubt that this could be this person will be coming back, but I doubt that's what they're setting it up for. It just seemed more like a little cameo, but maybe they pay it off later on. I don't know quite yet what I'm watching, but I appreciate the spectacle of it. I just wish that the writing wasn't so lazy, and maybe that some of it would, I don't know, make sense, like be logical and like to not have things that just stand out that's just major plot holes that prevent me from at least going along this journey where I'm like, okay, I'm checking out. This has nothing to do with an overall plot. I'm just going on a journey. I'm going to have fun. Please don't have plot holes I can drive the Millennium Falcon through. So that's, I think, where I'm at here. I'm not giving up on it. I'm not tapping out on it because, like I said, I totally understand what it means to be a fan of a franchise where just give me some of that. And any of that is good, and I'll figure out, okay, the worst as compared to the best. I'll play that game later, but just give me what I like, and I'll go off of that.
Yes, exactly. I want to go off of that because I totally agree with you, Danny. It's still spoiler free. I wish they would have started this a little stronger. Yes, they're continuing the numbering. It's chapter 9 and 10, but I still want, it's been a year since we've seen this, and I want a better thing to invest me in. Like get me into the arc of him bringing the child back to his kind first before you go into like a Quantum Leap kind of a thing. And I mean show. Quantum Leap, where it's like every story, it's like he's trying to get back home, but he always has these like separate tangent adventures that he's going on. And the first 2 episodes just feel like they're just tangent adventures and doesn't really push the bringing the kid back home story arc as much. I wish they would have saved these 2 episodes for in the middle. I don't know what to expect in the middle, but I wish they would have started a little bit something more concrete that says, yes, we're on the journey to bring this dude back to his kind, the other Yoda's species of his kind.
Well, I mean, but we saw this like last season too, and that's, I think, maybe part of the frustration with it is
this dude is rubbing his head.
It's the whole
it's torturing him.
How many village saving, monster killing, fetch quest episodes are we going to get before we get a sense of where we're going?
Oh, I got 2 questions for you.
Okay.
Non-spoiler?
Not spoiler. Totally not spoiler.
Right.
But I liked the thing you said where it was like the writing was lazy. So my question to you is, which episode, for everybody really, but just because you brought it up, which episode seemed like the more lazier one? The first one or the second one?
I have my answer right
off
the bat.
Is that fair to say?
No, that's fair to say, and I have my answer right off the bat.
It's like, what's worse, gonorrhea or syphilis?
Oh, no, man! Yeah,
all right, well, let's go around the room. All right. So, Eli, what do you think about that? Your question.
As far as my own question that I posed, because that was a great point he made. I totally think the second one was.
The second was laziest?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I would disagree. I would say that the first one had the most plot holes in it. The second one had the most inane, like, this is just filler kind of stuff. Like, does that make sense? It's like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no. The first one to me had the larger number of questions where I'm like, why would you? The first one really bugged me from a questioning standpoint where I'm questioning the plot. The second one, I'm like, am I really seeing what I'm seeing right now?
Yeah, but I know, can't spoil it.
We're almost out of it. I'm get Lee.
Why don't we go to Lee?
All right, Lee, what do you think? Based upon Eli's question, what do you think, Lee?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by either one, honestly. Like
either one, really?
I mean, like, again, I'm not that invested one way or the other to say, again, I'm just here like, just entertain me, just entertain me. So I'm with you there, though. The first one engaged me more, I guess, than the second one. Put it that way.
Yeah, I get that. And it sounds like the first episode was based off of a series of novels called The Aftermath, and in which they explain what happens after the second Death Star was destroyed and what happened to that particular town. But yeah, no, I'm the same way. Look, guys, let's go to spoilers. So listeners, if you're listening, we're going to jump into spoilers. So now's your chance to pause the show. You've had a good amount of shows so far up until this point, but we're about to jump into some spoiler time. So I'm giving you some time. So I'm just saying spoilers. So, and here we go. Boba Fett was seen supposedly at the end of the first episode, only to be found nowhere in the second episode. This was insinuated by the fact that the actor playing the mysterious figure seen at the end of episode 1 is Tamura Morrison, the same person who played Jango Fett, and the fact that the Marshal played by Timothy Oliphant was wearing what looked like Boba Fett's armor when we first see that character. What do y'all think of that?
Let me tell you.
I got 20 minutes on this.
I was going
Go.
Let me do this really quick.
Go.
So that's all right. That's the nostalgic thing that I was talking about.
So you recognize the armor the minute the dude stepped into that bar?
No, he likes Justified.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Which
That's totally it.
Timothy Oliphant was an actor.
Timothy, so like that was the thing. Like it's just like Carl Weathers in the first season. I saw the Boba Fett armor when it.
It's a
started.
similar role that Timothy's playing.
It is the exact role. Okay, so really quick, Justified is a show Timothy Oliphant was. He was a character called Raylan Givens, who was a U.S. Marshal. That's literally the character he was. He played pretty much the same guy. I just like Raylan Givens to where I was like, dude, that's cool. That's like watching Boba Raylan. That was awesome to me.
If I could go along with that, this kind of reminds me of what Lee was saying last year when we were talking about season 1. Your boy with the Darksaber saying he plays that same character.
That's exactly right.
Oh,
That's exactly what Lee was
I am
saying.
the evil man. And
Can I ask Eli a question real quick?
Yes, please.
So I saw this written about, and I don't know because I never watched Justified.
That was great show. Great show.
I hate Timothy Oliphant.
Really?
There's some actors that you just can't stand, like Lucas Haas.
he's too skinny. Huh? He's too skinny, right?
I don't.
No, is that he just since Scream 2.
Okay.
He's always in every role just come off as the most pretentious douchebag. And I don't know what it is about him, but I have never liked Timothy Oliphant.
We're going to do this right now. That's what he says.
No, this is all right.
We're going to do this right now.
I've never watched Justified, but I mean, look, I like Die Hard 4, which he was in.
He was a cyber terrorist, yeah.
I still don't even think he did a good job there, but I mean, nothing against the dude, whoever likes him. But my understanding is that the guy who played the bartender was also the bartender from Justified. Is that true?
The bartender from Justified.
Or Deadwood. I don't remember what are these cowboy shows?
No, because in Justified, there's not really I don't know that. There's not really like if there's a bartender, they do have a scene. The bad guy has a bar that he goes to, but the bartender is not really a real relevant character. So you'd have to tell me who he is.
I don't know. I don't watch this stupid shit.
Yeah, I don't know. To answer your question, honestly, I don't know. The bartender in the TV show, but like the character it was pretty much like Lee said before. Like it was the same guy. He literally walked the same. He literally said that there was a line when they were trying to. If
I could remember a second, the actor that played that bartender was W. Earl Brown. And on IMDb, nothing else pulls up. So I guess
okay,
it's not the same guy.
Then he had that person has no relevance to me at all.
Is it okay?
If you tell me, does it say in there what the character? So they Justified. Does he have a name? Because maybe if you tell me the name, I can say, oh
no, he wasn't in Justified. Nothing else pops up. Yeah, he wasn't.
Okay.
One more. Okay, hold up. W. Earl Brown's guest appearance in The Mandalorian may have been short, but it was still significant. 57-year-old actor is best known for his movie roles like Scream, There's Something About Mary, The Alamo, Lone Ranger, more noteworthy is the fact that Brown had a recurring role on Deadwood and an appearance on Justified. Both series starred Timothy Oliphant, who appeared alongside Brown in The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1 as Cobb Vanth. So he was in Justified. He was the bartender, I guess, in Deadwood. Like, I knew he was in one of those cowboy shows. I didn't know he was in Deadwood in addition to Justified. I couldn't remember which one it was. I just remember reading that in an article pimping the new season.
Well, when he, like you said, when this marshal, this town, and he has the kind of Boba Fett arm. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then when he took it off, and that's the first thing I said. I was like, holy crap, that's Raylan. And that nostalgic part. Now, granted, you guys never watched the show, so it may not really have the same impact. But for me, it was cool seeing Space Raylan.
I'll tell you what the impact that got me was when he took off that armor, and Mando is like, I forgot his name. I'm sorry, Jin Jarrus or something like that.
Yeah,
he's looking at him. He's like, I can't believe you just did that. You're not a Mandalorian. you need to give that Beskar back.
Okay, y'all are jumping way too ahead.
Yes.
When he showed up in the Boba Fett armor, the dude looked like an absolute goof.
Well, yeah, it wasn't.
He did. I mean,
He did.
you would have gotten thrown out of Comic-Con walking in looking like
You're
that.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's why I said the guy's too thin.
Oh, yes.
So now the bartender was, his most memorable role, I would say, have you ever seen Something About Mary?
Yes.
Okay, he played Warren.
Oh, okay.
Franks and Beans. That guy.
Franks and Beans.
That he played Warren. He was also the camera. Gail. What's her name? Gail. The Courtney Cox's role.
Okay, the reporter chick.
Yeah,
Yes.
she had a cameraman in the original Scream movie, and his throat got slashed, and he died in that. That's W. Earl Brown. So he was in.
Yeah, he's
Justified.
like a kid. He was like a kidnapper in Justified. Yeah,
Okay.
I recognize that face.
That's what he was from Justified, but also in Deadwood. Apparently, I don't know if he's whatever it was. But point being is that that was the connection between the two actors.
Okay, but I'm with you. When he showed up, I was like, "That's a hokey outfit." Like, if we're gonna just kind of jump back into it. So all right, Baby Yoda's totally pointless in this completely.
He's a background story.
Yeah, he did
In the first one.
In the first
one, and because like I said, I had to go back with my daughter and watch the first season. So like, I mean, he's already lifted animals and all this other like in the first season, and this one he just makes these weird noises. To which my daughter was just like, "Oh, he's so cute." I'm like, God, like, is that all they're just really selling this creature for now? It's just him.
Well, it's the holiday season, so they got to sell those.
They got to sell it now.
Yeah, they didn't have them ready for last year, so they got a ton of them now.
Go to a Disney store. There's a bunch of them on the shelf.
Oh, good. I can get them on a discount.
Okay, let me say this. What do y'all think about all right? So we're gonna hit it.
We're in spoiler land.
Yeah,
man.
spoiler land. So like the very first point where he goes into like that weird town, seedy alley area.
When he goes after John Leguizamo.
Yeah, and then there's that weird UFC kickboxing Gamorrean guard fighting thing, which made no sense.
All right, once again, this it threw me out of the moment when from the moment I saw Timothy Olyphant show up in that armor. And I'm like, why is Boba Fett wearing pajamas and looking gangly? To like the very first time I saw the Gamorrean guards, where their heads were a little bit too big for their bodies, where the Gamorrean guards look svelte. I mean, they look like they cast bodybuilders, spray painted them green, and put these
big masks on.
You're talking about in Jedi, yeah. They're big.
They're big. They're big, bulky guys, and it was just they had skinny legs and built torsos. And the heads didn't match the bodies at all to me. Like whenever they were like, "Let's watch the action," it kept throwing me. I'm like, "This looks terrible."
Well, Danny, life after the Empire has been rough.
Oh,
yeah, but then they had like axes. Like this was the thing that I was like, okay, well that's an interesting setting. This, Mando's going to like basically a boxing match, but then they had
no place for a kid.
Absolutely, but Baby Yoda loved it. Who don't like fights?
He's seen worse, Baby Yoda.
Absolutely, and he's done worse. He did way worse acting in this one. But they got the axes, and the first thing I was like, okay, well that's a cool set piece. But then they start to hit each other with the axe, and then there's like this weird effect where
the shield thing that they had. Yeah,
but there's like some. It's because that there really is like a weapon that does that in the Star Wars universe.
And that's fine, but it's like, well, then what is the point of you having axes? Why not just go hand to hand? Like, so then I didn't care. But then I was like the John Leguizamo, the one-eyed Cyclops guy. And
the boy that shot the dude.
He shoots the dude.
Hey,
I'm like,
Eli, he shot first.
Well, because the other dude didn't have a blaster.
That's right.
That's it. And I was like, well, what was the point of that? Now I'm just kind of out of it, and I'm like, well, I don't really...
That's because when he bets, he wants to make sure he wins.
Well, that's just downright...
That's dirty.
That's really dirty.
But they didn't bet.
Yeah.
They're right.
What was the bet?
There was no bet. It was just like, hey, this will be a badass way to start this thing off. Yeah, but it makes no sense.
I thought he was going to have him fight one of those guys or both of them.
No, the bet was, hey, what if I'm right and this guy gets destroyed in the next minute and a half, you got to give me your armor. If not, then I just give you the information for free. And he's like, I'm not betting. He's like, oh, okay. I'm going to kill him anyway, just to show you that I
have control.
I mean business.
Right.
Yeah. See, he should have put Mando in the fight against the two guards, and again, now I'm entertained. But I didn't get
I was not. The two guards were throwing me out. I'm like, cool, Gamorrean guards but they don't look like that. That's what I remember. But again, that's just maybe it's being hypocritical. I don't know, but it was throwing me out of the moment because I'm like, that's not what they look like.
Now, I'm about to say that's fair, Dan, because the first iteration of the Gamorrean Guards is a Return of the Jedi. So that's ingrained into your head.
They were my favorite characters.
Yes, like from Jabba's palace, your boy that got eaten when he was trapped in there. Yeah, I mean, you know what they look like because of what happened. And they look a little different.
Yes.
So that's why I said the Empire, after the Empire, it's been a little rough for those guys.
Empire wasn't feeding them.
There's no Empire to feed them, so they didn't have to. Jabba wasn't around. I don't know what happened to Jabba, but Jabba ain't taking care of them. That's why they got to fight.
There's emaciated guards.
But the worst part of that opening scene was, okay, the guy runs out, he snags him in the wire, hangs over, no, kill me. I promise, you won't die by my hand.
That's so broke. Yeah.
It's like, who didn't know what he was going to do next? And it's like, oh my God, it's just so hackneyed. Like, you could see it coming a mile away.
I wanted to say, John Leguizamo, you're only lasting for one episode. I'm sorry.
If I'm the guy and I'm hanging there like, well, that sounds ominous. Why don't you just say, I won't die? Why don't you just cut me down first? Anything. You will not die by my hand. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, just before I give, could you just clarify this one little point for me? Like, because that sounded like foreshadowing.
A little bit.
A little bit.
But what were those things? What were those Jawas that were naked?
No, they weren't Jawas.
You know what? At first I thought they were Jawas, but they had that red menacing glow. And I was like, oh, wait, no, that Jawa's a yellow-eyed.
There's some kind of flesh-eating creature that only comes out at night.
I didn't know what that was. So that he walked away, the guy was like, rah, rah, and then like all these little red dots came out. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not intimidated by that.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, y'all should have called Orkin.
Yeah.
y'all going to fights. The only thing keeping y'all alive is a street lamp.
I was going to say, should you have more street lamps than that? If you turn the street lamps off and all the gremlins come out and start eating your ass, shouldn't you have more lights out there?
You got to take care of that. Look, listeners, I mean, I know we're being honest about our opinions on this show. And if you loved it, we'd love to hear from you. Show at magicover.com. But anyway, I mean, we're going to continue on because there's a lot to unpack.
Did you like the gremlins, Kevin, that came out?
I could care less. It's a good way to off that character if they didn't want him to continue, but it wasn't necessary.
I didn't have a problem with the gremlins. I had a problem with the logic behind it because it just seemed stupid that the guy would give up the information knowing that he purposely said it in a way that clearly indicated that he was going to let him die.
And you know what, though? The first intro you have of Mando in the first season is hardcore. You know, everybody's,
Oh, yeah. He splits the dude through that door when it splits.
And you're like, holy crap, and all that.
I think that's what they were going for. Did it work for this time?
No, it did not.
It did not.
It did not.
Lee, did it work for you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was just, it's whatever.
No, if you put him in the spot where he's fighting the guards or he has to fight his way out, or maybe that John Leguizamo character sends all his bodyguards after him and Mando has to do his thing and the child helps, whatever, that might have been cool. But yeah, that first intro part, no, that was weak.
I mean, not to jump, but in that first episode, if he had actually found a Mandalorian to help him, I would have been okay with this maybe the second episode.
Okay,
but right. I don't know. The second episode,
we could just jump.
Yeah, right. I don't want to leave yet.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave yet.
Don't leave, baby. Don't leave. We keep it.
Let's just stay on this first.
All right, so
fair. Okay,
because I've got a ton of stuff.
Lay it out because we're probably going to build off of this.
So let's let Lee go ahead and say your piece, and then we'll go over to Danny. So Lee, go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say that just like I had the same opinion about him that I had with the villain in the first season. It's like he sat down, poured the whatever, took his helmet off, and I was like, "Ooh, who's he gonna be?" And then I saw it was him. I'm like, "The dude from the Santa Clarita Diet is on here."
That's what my daughter said.
I recognized his voice immediately, and I'm like, "No, not him."
I didn't, but I'm not real good with that. Like my wife will tell you, I'm the worst with like, oh, that guy was in so and so, or this guy was in this and that. I'm the worst with that kind of stuff. Like she knows. Like she could hear someone's voice and be like, "Oh, I know who that is." Like I'm the worst with that, so that didn't. And then I'm just gonna say one more thing, and I'll let you guys roll hard. But why did it even have to be like a cowboy thing? Like he's the only one that talks like this. No one else is talking like a redneck.
Because the character that he wasn't. That is my opinion. But the character that he wasn't justified was a cowboy cop.
No, I get that, but I'm saying like for this show, why did it have to be? Why did he have to be the only one with the cowboy accent? No one else talked like that.
I think it was just because Jon Favreau was trying to do a Western style episode. That's the only thing I can come up with that, because clearly there was enough in there to
give you that impression.
Right,
they had that
enough callbacks that it was kind of purposeful that these are choices that we're making. But I mean, there again, Timothy Olyphant just seems to play that same character. I mean, he did in Justified, Deadwood.
I do love Justified.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes,
I
you're
have to
right.
watch that. Yeah.
Okay. Did we really need to bring back the girl who looked like Ripley from Aliens, but talks like the best friend, like the sassy best friend from any 80s sitcom? Like, that woman should be working at Mel's Diner with Allison Vera. I don't know what the she's doing.
Wait, which one are we talking about?
When he lands in Tatooine,
Amy Sedaris character.
Yes, Amy Sedaris.
Oh.
She's got the robot, the droids,
Yes,
the
okay.
mechanic droids.
Thank the Force.
Yes, thank the Force.
That wig is terrible. You're right. She does belong in Mel's
Thank
Diner.
the Force.
Well, it's like the Ripley wig, but like the Mel's Diner attitude. Like any 227. She would have fit just fine in 227. She just does not fit in this Star Wars story. I don't get it.
He likes droids now. Go ahead, fix it.
Yeah, you like
fix the Razor Crest.
You want me to leave the baby here? I'm gonna take care of the baby.
If he ever buds or whatever, I want one of them.
No,
But
yeah.
my biggest problem with this, my biggest problem with this episode, this is the worst critique.
Episode one.
The first one.
The Crate Dragon episode.
The Crate Dragon episode. This is the one where I'm like, again, there's so many logical fallacies. He sees him, he's like, take the armor off. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that, even though he keeps taking the damn helmet. He sees him in 2 seconds, he's already got the helmet off. He's like, well, I guess we're going to do this now. And he's already grabbing for his gun. He didn't even put the friggin' helmet on. And I'm like, shoot the dude in the head. That's it. There's your armor right there. But they're squaring off to get into it. The Crate Dragon comes on by and he's like, tell you what, you help me kill that thing, I'll give you my armor. Deal.
Oh, yeah, that was a weird proposal.
Well, he's like, deal. And I'm like, why don't you just kill him? Why are you going to kill the 50-yard long monster? You're going to wait. What? Why would you do this instead of just killing the guy who took the Mandalorian armor?
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. It would have been nice to have a little more mystery with the. I would just call it Boba Raylan. It would have been nice to have a little more mystery.
I'll be honest. At first I thought, I was like, well, maybe, he did that because, he owed some help to the Sand People. But then, like, when you just said that, he still could have killed the dude and still helped the Sand People kill the Crate Dragon.
Right, and is still taking the armor.
Yeah, still taking the armor, yeah.
He's only got 2 pieces of armor, a helmet that he keeps taking off.
And a jetpack and not much.
Do you make the argument here that since Mando's a good guy, and then Boba Raylan was the law of that area, he respected him as being part of the law. Maybe that's why he don't shoot him in the head.
Shoot him in the arm. I don't care.
Shoot him in the arm.
He's not that protected. Shoot his arm off.
Well, that's true. He shoot him in the leg.
Take the armor and walk off. Why would you agree to kill a 50-yard long monster as opposed to just killing one dude that you could probably take in a fight?
Yeah, and just for the listeners, if you want to argue the Sand People wanted to do it too, he didn't find out the Sand People wanted to do it until they found him again.
Right.
The Sand People were just weird, but okay.
It's those guys.
Maybe he's like, dude, you're a good dude, but he doesn't even get to know who he is or where he came from until he goes on that little journey with him. And even that journey with him where Timothy Olyphant's like, yeah, they attack the bar, and I go wandering off, and look at me, I've got these crystals, and I'm about ready to die, and these Jawas saved my life.
And I want the armor.
And give me the armor. And it's like, they just saved your life. You could have just died in the desert. Give him the crystals and say, thank you for saving my life.
Well, no, but now he's got to walk back home in the desert, unless he's going to live with the Jawas.
But they gave him a ride, apparently, too. I don't know if that was part of the deal, but I mean, the Jawas picked him up. They gave him water.
But come on, who want to live with Jawas, though? That's a great question.
Better than dying in the desert.
This is true, but they ain't gonna kick him back out. Like, you done. Unless you help us salvage stuff, you out of our track.
Well, but here's the thing. It's like, if I was a Jawa, I'd be like, look, I gave you I saved your ass. But I guess Jawas are so simple-minded that they're like, hey, we got to trade something for something, even though they already traded something for something.
Well, if I was a Jawas, I'd like, wait, you want water? Give me these crystals. Because that water
That's what I'm saying.
is worth the crystals.
I saved your butt, so I already traded something.
Or get out.
Why
Get
don't
to
we need to
separate.
trade something else?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much those crystals were worth to the Jawas, but I mean, maybe like
Millions of dollars.
get out of here.
I guarantee you the water was worth more to him on the edge of death than the crystals were worth to the Jawas.
Now remember, what was it who was it? Like the Empire, remember they had the little video, they had like the party, and then it was like, that was a cool party when then they showed the Death Star blowing up. And then, yeah, and then like there was that weird, what was it, like the mining
collective.
Okay, so like right there, I thought it was going in a different direction where I was like, okay, so who's the bad guys in that area? You mean, wait, it's just miners with rifles? Where's the intimidating?
And they look like they were straight out of a Flash Gordon comic book.
No, they sound like from Robotech or whatever that's called. Yeah.
It was straight broke.
But to be honest, no, that's straight out of the novel, The Aftermath, the series of novels.
That's how they looked?
No, they didn't have in fact, they changed it for this episode. It's the mining colony. It was a different people that took over that colony, Mos Pelgo. But yeah, it's something different. They adjusted for the series, but it's the same kind of effect. So I'm not justifying it. I just thought it was just like weird.
No, this is all about justify, because this is Timmy Elephant show.
This is true.
I'm not intimidated by these guys whatsoever. So like, right, they come in, they raid the bar, and it's like, yeah, now they took over, I'll tie it up. But I'm like, they're not scary at all. They really have no armor and nothing.
You ever seen that video? It was like, oh, you can really dance. Oh, you can really dance.
Wow.
We've been dancing for all this time. What the coincidence?
Oh, do the dance now. Do the dance. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all seen that social media going around, but
no,
it made
but
me
that
laugh.
was catchy when you pulled that off. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was into what you were doing.
Yeah.
It was like no, they remind me of sprockets.
Oh yeah,
That's exactly what I was thinking. I thought that's what you were doing at first, actually. And I'm like,
But it's essentially the same thing. No,
I don't remember any black turtlenecks, but okay.
No, that's the only difference. Yeah.
But they weren't intimidating at all to say that they took over this area.
They just had guns and they shot everybody.
And they did shot everybody, but they weren't intimidating. It wasn't no bad villain. And and the monster, I just kept thinking of Tremors.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing I was thinking of.
Dunes, Tremors, all that.
All
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
And so the funny thing was like my Hannah asked me like what this creature was, and like I was like, yeah, well, it's kind of like, because she was like, why did the desert this creature? And I was like, well, it's kind of like a sarlacc, and then I had to explain what that
that
was.
bitch ate the sarlacc.
Yeah, okay. So that is where I'm with you, where I started to lose it past Oliphant. Boba Raylan was like, okay, wait, that creature might be
Cobb
big,
Vanth.
but give me a break. The Sarlacc pit is no joke. Like, that's like the size of a city. That's like a city of teeth. Like at least 2 city blocks.
Yeah, but the Sarlacc is pretty stationary. It can't go anywhere. Like, its mouth is exactly in that hole. Like, if you can attack it from the side, which I guess it looks
But
like
that's still teeth. That's the death of a thousand
if you come from
teeth.
behind, though, it's no problem.
right. The Sarlacc doesn't move. It's stationary. It's stuck in the ground.
So you accept that this thing can take the Sarlacc?
I accept that it could take the Sarlacc. What I could not accept is like the Sarlacc. I mean, was it the same Sarlacc from Return of the Jedi? Because he seemed to be on a mountain. The Sarlacc must have been on top of a mountain, so it would seem to be no. Because for him to be able to burrow into that mountain and eat the Sarlacc, that seems to suggest that this was a different one. But that's why, like, a lot of people are like, oh my God, Boba Fett showed up at the end. And I'm like, Boba Fett better have showed up at the end. Mandalorian on Tatooine, Boba Fett. You see the armor? Boba Fett. Oh, there's a Sarlacc pit? Boba Fett. If Boba Fett doesn't show up, you're pissed by the end of that episode.
Oh, wait. Time out. Episode 2. No Boba Fett.
No Boba Fett.
We left the planet.
Well, but I understood that because I didn't, like, a lot of people saw Boba Fett at the end. They're like, Boba Fett, he's in the series and he's going to do. I just took it as, yeah, this dude knows that there's armors out there. He knows that things are going on. He doesn't look like somebody who's ready to get involved.
That's the thing. Like, people assume Boba Fett, but it could also be a clone. Because as we know from Rebels, and those are Star Wars fans, we know there are clones that are still living. Granted, yes, because of the accelerated aging, Rex and this gang might have been like really old, but still, who knows?
I agree. Look, I think it actually is the Boba Fett. I do think that is the case. But I am not yet sure whether or not he is a major player in this or not.
Now, here's it. Okay, so that's fair. That's a fair thing that you put out, because I totally just watched it and I saw the dude. I was like, okay, well, obviously he knows something. But then that means that again, like you say, you go to the next episode, like you say, Kevin, no Boba Fett. That means that episode 1 has no point whatsoever. Like, just absolutely none.
Okay, can I just say something real quick? Like, we seem to want to go to the next episode, and I'm cool with that. But can I just give you my last major problem?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just relating that part to that, but I didn't want to go into it.
I know what you're saying, but it seems like we need to transition. So let me just give you my last major problem.
No, just let it all out, and then maybe we'll address all of that you get to let out.
And it's important because this is the first episode that they decided to lead the second season with. So, Danny,
I was just happy to see Raylan, and I'm walking away.
Please.
This is the one I think there's the most logical plot holes in. So the whole idea of killing the Krayt Dragon. Is it just me, or my first idea was, well, why don't you put some explosives on one of the banthas and let him go ahead and eat it and then blow him up?
Which is what they did ultimately, right?
Ultimately, that's what
Jaws. They did Jaws plotline.
Exactly.
Yes.
Jaws, Men in Black,
yes,
did the exact same thing.
Tremors.
Sharknado did it. Like the whole thing. As soon as I hear, well, he likes to eat the banthas. Put some explosives on there. When he swallows it, boom, you blow him up. They even say it. His weak point's the belly. But instead, they're going to go ahead and fight him and get, acid
spit.
Oh, look. But except for that one time when they had the Bantha versus the Tusken Raider to choose from, and they ate the Tusken Raider.
And that was, I think that was only for them to go back to the town and say, it eats people.
No, yeah.
Well, but that's the thing. It's a creature. It has to feed.
Yes.
At some point in time, it's going to be like, I can eat 80 of these sand people, or I can eat one of these banthas and feel pretty satiated. Why was that not the first thing that they tried? I mean, as long as this monster has been terrifying the town and causing them grief, how did they never think to try to put some explosives on one of the banthas, put them out there, and let the thing eat it and then blow it up?
I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe they didn't have access to explosives. Maybe the Tusken Raiders didn't have
there. That was their explosives. Remember, they're loading them up on the. And
yeah, but that was Mos Pelgo's explosives.
Right.
No, I'm talking about the Tusken Raiders. Maybe. Well, I'm thinking about something different because the Tusken Raiders have been around forever dealing with this monster. So I was thinking that maybe you're asking why the Tusken Raiders didn't.
No, I'm asking about the town because we got more. Because Timothy Olyphant was very specific that this monster has been terrorizing this town for a long time.
And I'm thinking why didn't and when you said that, I realized what you're saying now, but I was thinking why didn't the Tusken Raiders have how many years they've been dealing with this monster? Didn't think about this
because they couldn't get the supplies from the miners because they and the miners didn't get along.
I didn't realize that they didn't think about that.
No, that's all good. That's all good.
Because they've been terrorizing the miners. But no, to Danny's point, that makes total sense.
Can I say this one thing about the bandit thing? All right, so this one thing I thought was funny.
Oh, banthas are slow.
No, but this was hilarious. I did laugh when the one that we'll call it explosive banter. When it knew that it was its time when Mando was with it, and it saw the thing coming, and the bandit looked was like, no.
Oh, he said, but no, I'm going.
Yeah, no, stay here. He was like, stay. I was like, hey, you know what? Points on that, because if I'm a bandit and I saw all my people getting eaten, and y'all put explosives on me, and then I knew this thing is coming, I'm like, I'm breaking out of this. And man was like, no, stay. And the band was like, rah, no. I laughed. I personally did.
I felt for that bantha.
I didn't feel for it. I just laughed.
No, I'm with Kevin. I'm like, damn, dude. Okay, shoot. You're going to get eaten. Why are you holding me here to die with you? I didn't ask for this.
Dude, I'll be like, you have armor. Put the explosive in your ass.
Yeah.
And then you have electricity so you can escape and leave the explosives.
Right.
Leave my happy ass where I can just graze on the desert.
You just watch too much National Geographic on Disney
That
Plus.
must be it, man.
No,
I felt for the banthas because the banthas were cute.
Yeah, no, it was cute. It was just funny to watch that one had enough sense, but the other ones didn't know. That one knew. That was funny. That was the most...
the most sentient one out of all the banthas.
That's why I felt for him, because he knew it was like, no, you setting my ass up, motherfucker. No, if I thought I was just carrying these explosives, I didn't realize I was live bait.
I'm not bait. I'm getting the out of here.
I ain't Jamie Foxx. I ain't bait. Don't do me like this.
Who are you, Mando?
I'm a banter. I'm a human.
So that was my last huge problem with it, is the whole idea that this idea never occurred to them. That should have been idea number one. This thing needs to eat. It likes banthas. rig a bantha.
Especially in the beginning of the episode where they do see him eating a bantha in the town when they first encounter the crate dragon.
Yep.
I'm with you. That and I don't know why, but I thought the length of time on the episodes were like 45 minutes. I realized it was pretty close to an hour. So really,
the first one was longer than usual.
Yeah, because I'm with y'all. Like, you could have easily have just handled the crate dragon thing really quick, and then dealt with the problem at hand, which was finding another Mandalorian. And you would have had a really good story right there.
But they don't want to find another Mandalorian because then they have to move on with the story, and I don't know if they have one in mind.
I tell you what, I wish they would have had, at least in the first episode, a Mandalorian he interacted with, and I would have bought into the story.
I agree.
It would have locked in the story, the entire story arc for the 8 episodes that he was trying to progress that child to the rest of his kind.
At least give me something to chase.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, because if he'd have ran across another Mandalorian, you could have easily gave that character something like, "Hey, I heard you caused our race to be like evaporated. You fought our race for this child. Why should I help you?" Now you have Mando and whatever this character would be, that's a fellow Mandalorian, working it out, building your character development right there.
That's the thing. That would have been strong enough to take me through episode 2, which we're about to discuss, because I thought that was probably freaking weak.
Okay.
Because if there was a Mandalorian in the first episode, I would have forgiven the second episode, because it happens on your journey. I'll give you that. On a hero's journey, happens. And you get, the X-Wings come up and whatever else. But if you had given me that Mandalorian that he would have interacted with to help him on his journey in the first episode, I would have been okay with the second, but they didn't give me that. And now here we are with freaking Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter, Mandalorian.
Why you call? Can I ask really quick before we get into it? Why you call it Chamber of Secrets, Mandalorian?
In Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter has to fight off Aragog and his children, which is a den of spiders, and escape. Which is exactly what Mando and the Frog Lady and the child had to do. The exact same thing.
Time out.
Yes.
2 things. 1, I will give the devil due. That fight with the crate dragon, though, was cool.
It was.
When he starts spewing out that acid spit, I'm like, whoa, he can do that? I had no idea.
Didn't see that coming.
And maybe
I didn't know
that's in
they
the
did.
books. But I thought I was invested at that point in time. And that's the good thing about this show, is even when it doesn't make sense, the visual spectacle of it is amazing.
That's fair. We should have put a positive.
I'll give you that, Brandon, because it's like a practical way that it can defend itself.
Second point, the way that episode should have ended is instead of, with that faraway shot, you should have had Mando. He gets his stuff up. He loads up the speeder bike. Next thing you know, he's back at Tatooine. He's getting ready to get on a ship. And as he's walking onto a ship with everything, sitting there is Boba Fett saying, "You've got something that belongs to me." Credits.
Yes.
Credits.
I would have came.
And that...
No, seriously, I would have.
That's why he's a very good storyteller.
That would have been awesome.
And I would have forgotten everything wrong that happened up until that point because I've been so geeked up to see how it was going to progress. Because when I saw Boba Fett at the end there, I'm like, they're giving me nothing to believe that this dude's going to be in the next episode, the episode after that, or even the episode after that. Hopefully, cross fingers, he shows up again at some point.
I was about to say, would that have been enough to take you through the second episode?
I would have given the episode 30 minutes, but if all that happened was Jango Fett was like, "Thanks for the armor, see you later," and then the exact same happened, I'd be like, this episode.
Yeah, no, right.
Okay. Yeah.
Lee, what do you think?
Yeah, you convinced me. This is not that good.
I mean,
I wasn't trying to convince.
No, there was no convince. Like I said in the beginning, it was the nostalgia of seeing a guy that I liked playing a character that I liked in a spacesuit.
It's just the whole Boba Fett thing, man. If you put Boba Fett in anything, we're gonna get a hard on.
But I tell you what, if they had done what Danny had said, I would be itching for the next Friday to come up where I can watch the next episode.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good continuance.
And can I say, and we're spotting them the hard on. to use your analogy, we're spotting them that hard on because it's not like this is the original Boba Fett. This is a guy who donned the costume in Empire Strikes Back.
Sure.
Jedi.
Yeah.
This is a guy who's never donned the Boba Fett costume. He was Jango Fett. Maybe he's voiced him in something or another that I'm just not aware of. But we're spotting you that we're just so geeked up for this. Just give us that and we're cool. But instead we get an old man in the, in pajamas.
Just standing there, just in the blanket, and you get the big dick speeder bike scene, which was not need to be in there. All right, so did you? Because I want to make sure. Did you
no, I'm ready to move on this.
Yeah, we're rolling to episode 2.
Can I take this one?
You want to take it? Okay, good.
Because I wanted to know what the Chamber of Secrets thing was. So I'm glad you clarified that, because I totally would have waited for Bill Paxton to show. I'm like, game over, man. Game over. But
He's been waiting for a while. He ain't working that much.
He's not going to be doing much. But I thought, okay, so like, yeah, they do it where, you know, she's got to help a frog chick, and so I'm not feeling the frog chick at all. That's a weird ass character with a bunch of Nerf balls in a big container, like that's equivalent of a lava lamp to me. So I'm not invested in this thing. Even Mando himself says, "What am I, a taxi service?" So right there, it's a funny
you don't
line.
care that it's the last of its kind?
I mean, okay. You're making me jump, but that's a fair question.
Okay,
all right. Never mind. Kevin went right to where I want to go.
I know that. I was just going to kind of lay it out and you laid it, but like,
no. Keep going.
Now I'm following with your question.
No. Go with your thought, and we'll get to my question.
All right, because your question lead it'll work. So she comes out and Mando himself makes the joke, "I'm a taxi service," and like I thought it was funny. I knew when he said that line, I was like, this show's going to be flat. I just knew it, because it just didn't, because you know what I mean, like it had no gravitas. There was nothing in there where you knew he was being challenged. It was just going to be something where he was just doing something, and those shows always fall flat. You know, it's outside of his range of what he's supposed to do.
It's like he should have just turned his screen right there and I'll
say no.
You've seen this big graphic of like filler episode.
Yeah.
And then boom, right, cut back.
Exactly. Like, would you like to bring these eggs to this planet? No. But she knows this and that. Now, well, her. She's a frog. Go play Frogger.
But the child thinks it's delicious.
Okay, so like that's weird. Okay, like that part was weird. And I want to jump back to your question about the species, but then watching Baby Yoda, who has a mouth that's like 2 inches, eat something that's bigger than that, and you never really kind of see you see him eat it, but you don't really see him eat it. You know what I'm saying? It's like this ball and then it disappears. So I was like,
okay, well, why don't you this is a spoiler, so why don't you explain exactly what you're talking about here? So the Baby Yoda, okay, so this frog lady, she has some eggs, and this is her offspring, and this is her legacy, and her husband's legacy, I should say.
Her husband went to another planet,
and he's fertilized
the legacy of the species.
Yes. He went and set up an area in a planet that was habitable so that his kids could have a place to live. So basically, it'd be like, you know,
he's Abraham.
Yeah, it'd be like you have a couple with kids, and then they say, we don't make enough in this state. So, hey, honey, I'll find a job in another state. I'll make sure this works, and then you and the family move over.
Money, I'll send for you.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's pretty much the same thing. Totally get that. But he doesn't come back for her. I don't know if that means she's a bad wife or he has a real high maintenance job.
I thought he was dead or something.
No, he's there.
No. I think Eli's right. I think he was still living.
He's still there.
She's going to go meet up with him.
She was going to go meet up with him, but I mean, damn, that's a cold ass husband, right? You don't even send a transport for your lady, your future Nerf eggs, babies, or whatever, right? So like,
that's a man that's confident in his worth.
In his woman, yeah, or he's getting something on the side. He hitting up another frog chick, being like, "Yeah, baby, just wait. I'm trying to make sure things are situated."
Some side tadpole.
I'm getting some side reptile on this thing.
Rivet.
Yeah, so like I hated this episode. I just did, and so he's got to go ahead. He's got to bring the frog chick, and then Baby Yoda has an affinity for this offspring. Like they're like little eggs.
Well, he eats frogs. We found that out from the first season.
But they're just eggs. They haven't hatched or anything. But he keeps going in and eating it. And at first it's kind of quirky, but he just keeps doing it. And so they're like, Mando's like, stop. Right?
And the frog lady never catches him.
That's so like,
but she suspects him.
She suspects him, but the funny. Okay, so let's just go to what Kevin's question was. Well, that's the last of species. Do you care? Obviously, the mom didn't care because, like,
no, she cared because she clutched it a little closer.
She clutched it towards.
When she started to figure out, hey,
come on,
you're
now.
eyeing this a little bit too closely.
Quit eating my eggs.
But he been eating the eggs like the whole episode, right? So like, there's a whole tube. Let's say there were 12 eggs. I didn't really pause and count it. I didn't get that deep.
Even when she was floating in her ice bath.
Her spa day? She took a spa day? God. She's like, Mama just needs a spa day. God, my children. I just want to relax.
You're not even adequately describing this episode. So, like, yeah, she's being transported with all of her eggs. They get attacked. Not attacked. They get discovered.
They're discovered by the X-Wing in the New Republic, and he's trying to escape in the Razor Crest.
Yes.
And he ends up in this ice cavern.
And for whatever reason...
Why did that happen?
Well, because the X-Wing fighters, they're like, hey, look, we need to figure out, are you Imperial or not? And he didn't want to ping.
He was in an Imperial...
Yeah, he didn't want to ping. He didn't have the technology to say, hey, look, I'm okay. He didn't want to reveal it.
Because he knows he's wanted and all that kind of stuff. So he tries to evade them. He crash lands in the ice. He thinks he's lost them.
Cool scene.
But he's really sleepy. The Mandalorian's very sleepy this episode. Have y'all noticed that?
That's funny.
He just kept wanting to go to sleep. Like, I'm going to go to sleep and the ship will fly itself. And, okay, wait, something's happening. Let me wake up. Okay, we just crash landed. I can fix the ship or, we can all take a nap. I just want to sleep. Very tired Mandalorian.
Let's just kill the crate dragon. Give me some rest. It's like Frog Woman. Give me some rest.
Yeah, she's like, when are we gonna get to my planet? Like, do you want to fix this ship?
Well, don't you sleep before you go on the trip? Like, if you go to Disney World, you stay up all night and then drive 8 hours. No, you sleep and then you go. This motherfucker's like, dude, I just leave me alone. I'm just gonna kick back. I just need to sleep. Need to be in my compartment. Sleepy Mandalorian.
He had to dodge 2 X-Wing fighters and through that, big hunk with that big hunk of junk and in the clouds and then in the ice and it fell through. Baby, he was really stressed.
And when did Baby Yoda turn into Scooby-Doo, where he's just gonna eat anything and everything and get everybody in trouble?
That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
he had no point in that episode.
But can I say real quick, when the X-Wings like opened their spoilers, I kind of got a hard on. I was like, yes.
It was like it's on.
I was like all right.
Like you saw it, like I thought that was pretty intense. When I came up, I was like, okay, feel a little suspense. He can't, do what they're asking. Like I felt like as a brother man, I felt like, oh shoot, this is like the cops.
A little trivia. One of those guys was Dave Filoni.
Oh, the producer.
Yeah, the producer that worked with Steven Spielberg that knows the story, that does a really good job with these things.
No, they were fun until they were cool until they actually showed them. Then I wasn't as intimidated. Like it was like, wow, okay, those guys are fierce. But then like once they showed, like, them dudes applying for retirement.
Yeah, one of those dudes made Porkins look in shape.
Yeah, like I don't even want to be honest, we could get to that later, but to be honest with you, I didn't even want to touch that part of the ending because I was like, that's what ended up killing it for me. But
the X-Wing guys?
The X-Wing guys picking off
when they were picking off the spider.
Yeah, because I was like, well, nah, this is pointless.
Okay, so then again, we're getting too far ahead.
Yeah, we got too far ahead.
All right, so they crash land on the ice planet, and then the frog lady is trying to get Mandy, because Mando's sleepy, and she's trying to get him to wake up. So she figures out a way to patch into this droid's head.
Oh, that was freaky.
Yeah, the one that he destroyed in the first
season.
Was freaky.
Right, and then the episode with Bill Burr.
Yes.
And she's able to talk through him, and it's kind of freaky, and you're like...
Mandalorian.
But it's freaky, but it's lame. But it's
needed, though.
But it's free. It's I get it, but it's not needed because I'm like, well, she's going to tell him something that he doesn't know. But no, she basically tells him the same old shit he already knows.
Actually, you know what? You're right. But on top of that, even me and Hannah watched that part. Hannah was like, wow, that bitch is cold. Because she's like, I thought Mandalorians were supposed to keep their promise, but I guess that's just children's tales. I'm like, hey, listen, if you're the person that's driving and you insult the driver, you can find yourself kicked out.
Yeah, but how many times did you get in a car wreck and be like, well, it's kind of late, I'm going to sleep real quick. We'll wait until morning and then we'll call the cops or we'll get
they would probably like, no, you probably have a concussion. We need to take you to the hospital.
Don't sleep.
That's the first thing. You don't sleep because you might have got hurt.
That's it. Good point, Lee. So they crash land. She speaks through the droid, and she convinces him that he needs help. So now he starts welding the ship back together so they can fly out of there. And then when he goes back, like the child's like, "Hey, you need to go check something out." And he's like, "What you trying? I can't speak Yoda." And then like he realizes, for whatever reason, this woman found a hot springs in the middle of ice.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like she just went out exploring and just stumbled across some ice that allowed for her to have a jacuzzi day.
Yeah, and you know, frog chicks need that. Frog chicks' lives matter.
And she let her eggs kind of,
melt or malt.
Feel the warmth. Marinate.
You gotta let the eggs marinate. But before that point.
Okay, so we caught up to what you want to say.
Yeah. No, it piggybacked. Okay, now let me make sure. I want to throw this out just to make sure I got this right. Now, Baby Yoda can repel fire. Right, we saw that in the first season.
Yes.
Okay, he can lift. He lift that big old buffalo with the horn in the second episode.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so why he couldn't help Mando like move some of the metal to the ship while he was trying to fix it? You know what I'm saying? Like while he was trying to repair, he could have been like, "Hey, Baby Yoda, send me that. Give me them pliers." Something like that.
I'm okay with that because I think, again, there's a communication gap between not just the frog lady and Mando, but Mando and Baby Yoda. Because clearly Baby Yoda doesn't understand, stop eating this woman's children.
Well, but you got to eat.
And when did Baby Yoda turn into Mike Tyson? I'm going to eat your children.
Yeah. Eat all your babies. No, they had a better connection in the first season towards the end than they do in these first 2 episodes now.
Yes. No, I totally agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like, you want an example? Outside it. This goes back to my ship point. Now, remember in the first season, he's hurt. And then, like, Baby Yoda don't talk. Baby Yoda try to, like, and then touch him to heal him. And he's like, don't touch me. I know what you're doing. Now, in this part, y'all can't get out of this freaking ice hole, you know, whatever. Like, Baby Yoda, I get it. The eggs taste good, but you don't want get out? Don't you want give the man like a little piece of metal or something? Can't you do your little lift? He does no force stuff, is my point. But okay,
so he's in an ice hole.
He's a gimmick.
Yeah,
he's an ice hole.
He's an ice hole. You know, absolutely. And really, everybody's like, oh, he's cute. Like Hannah actually said, this. She was like, based upon his coos, like the sound, she's like, I could tell when he's scared and when he's not able to see. That's why you own a pet and I don't. So
hey, Gizmo was cute, Alf was cute, everything has a shelf life.
Yeah, but they always
and Baby Yoda's still sitting on the shelf at the Disney store.
Ain't getting my money. So Frog Lady's having a spa day. Baby Yoda's eating.
Yeah, he's eating the eggs still.
And then you have the weird alien pod thing.
Well, that's when, so now, again, this is when Baby Yoda turns into Scooby-Doo, where the Mando's like, look, you can't be here. We don't know what's out here. You need to get back to the ship. I can't protect you. We need it. You want to leave. I'm trying to get you to leave. And as he does that, Baby Yoda eats something else. And it turns out to be a little baby spider. And that, for whatever reason, makes the other baby spiders hatch.
It reminded me of Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes.
It reminded me of Gremlins.
Yes. Yeah, like Gremlins or whatever. Yeah, enough to wake him up.
Any of that. And the little baby spiders attack until you see Mama Spider, and boy, she mad.
That was intense.
She's not happy.
That was an intense graphic right there. When she comes out the whole visually, that was intense.
Frog Lady uses her tongue to grab her clothes because she don't want to be seen frog naked.
Frog naked.
Yeah.
In a stressful moment where you're about ready to get eaten by a spider, get dressed first.
I never saw frog this before. I got gypped to that.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my mama. Hello, my
Ragtime gal.
Yeah, but that's a dude.
Yeah, and then just as they're having trouble, they shut the door. Mando's able to do that. Then Mama, who he thinks is dead, attacks again, and they think they're done for because he's breached a halt. And then the 2 TIE fighter pilots show up, blast Mama away, save the day, and now it's up to Mando to go ahead and be like, all right, cool, we're good. Let me weld this thing back together as best as we can and get out of here. And that's the end of the episode, right?
Oh my God, the way it ended where it like flies off that's red.
Yeah.
No, it looks like a freaking National Lampoon Vacation.
No, it looked like Fred Sanford
vehicle,
put that shit back
Found
together.
out long ago.
It looks terrible.
I got a broken door while flying to space.
Razor Crest National Lampoon Vacation. That's what I saw.
Okay, really quick. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
go ahead.
Quick
Now,
way to sum that
we're
up. Thank
caught
you
up.
for that. Yes, thank you. Now, okay, so the part where Mama Spider comes out, all the other spiders come out, cool scene. But you know what took me out of that was Frog Mama doing that weird leap jump thing. And
Where she said, screw this, walking.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a frog and just jump. And she didn't get any farther than Mando.
exactly like
doing that.
It was a weird visual because there was a lot happening. So she's doing this jump, it's distracted. Mando's doing the shooting, the spiders are coming out everywhere.
It's like they stopped it and just said, CG moment, guys. And then when
Dude, I thought she'd be like Derrick Henry and take off.
yes,
I thought she was going to use her tongue. I thought they were establishing when she used her tongue to get the clothes. I thought she was going to like whiplash a couple of them or something. You know what I mean? Like I thought she was going to do something else that would add to that character, because otherwise that character was a pain in the ass. I mean, you know, if Mando says no, you don't need this episode. It has no relevance whatsoever.
well, it's like the previous episode. If Mando says, "No, Timothy Oliphant, I am not killing this dragon. I'm just going to kill you." You don't have that whole episode.
That's fair, but at least you at least have like an interaction that has to happen in that first episode, meaning, you know, Oliphant has the armor, Mando's going to get the armor. In this particular one, this chick serves no purpose whatsoever with the frog lady. It's almost like a favor to Alice.
I can see that because the first episode he was told there was a Mandalorian on Tatooine. Maybe the Timothy Oliphant's character was mistaken as a Mandalorian. But the second episode,
yeah, he's kind of doing. It's like, okay, I'm a nice guy. I'm going to help your friend out to get this done.
Yeah, but she was helping him out in some because they got some information from that Ant-Man dude, which was weird that you would have an Ant-Man when you have an episode directed by the dude who directed Ant-Man.
Yeah, that's fair.
no, she was helping him out because she fed Baby Yoda, basically.
No, but wasn't there like a reasoning behind it? Wasn't there some stupid like
she knew a person? The frog lady knew a person.
Like where he was like, okay, like, you know, if you go ahead and do this guy will give you information, and he's like, okay, cool. You know, I need you to take this person because she's a cool person. And
you vouch for her.
I thought that there was something that
that was the reason, basically. Like the whatever character her name is on Mos Pelgo, whatever, I don't remember. Was
just call her Alice. I like the Alice analogy.
Alice duped Mandalorians to transporting this person because she found out that she knew where Mandalorians were.
Yeah, but at one point in time he says, "Deal's off. No way. I'm not doing that."
Yeah, right. Yes, absolutely.
But she convinced, like, no. It's going to be like, you know, so there had to be something in it for him.
Well,
I just don't remember what it was.
I think he had to, no, you know what it was? I remember now. He had to talk to the husband.
The frog husband.
He had to talk to the frog husband. So in order to get to the frog husband, he had to bring the frog wife.
Okay, but there was a reasoning. I don't remember that being it, but I can't dispute it.
That makes sense because the second episode is like, okay, we haven't resolved anything with the frog wife, so it's like I expect her to be in episode 3 next Friday.
Go to the planet, but
this coming Friday, yes.
I want to say this because I'm going to forget it really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
You summed it up really good, Danny. The part where the X-Men fighter guys came in and shot off the rest of the ice spiders or whatever, which Mama Spider was very intimidating. But I guess that was the thing. I don't mind in this series if Mando has help. I've seen it, and I accept it. You know, Carl Weathers, Gina Carano, the other fellow Mandalorians, that's awesome because he gets overwhelmed if he doesn't have a big gun. If you don't give him a big gun, you got to give him some help. But in this particular case, you're right. He slept, and then, like, the X-Men fighters guy, you know, like, the Rebels helped him. So he kind of like bitched out this episode. It wasn't like they teamed up to take down the spider. He just was like, I can't do anything else. And then these guys showed up to help him out, and he talked himself out of an arrest. It was kind of...
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's like I said before, it's a Scooby-Doo. It's like Baby Yoda was Scooby-Doo, and he was Shaggy. You know, and it's like one just wants to sleep, and the other one just wants to eat. And it's like their vices get them in trouble all the time. That's the closest thing I can compare it to. But my biggest problem with this is, like, you know, pick a lane. You know, like the gravitas of this situation and this mission depends upon you caring that this frog lady, and she hacked a droid just so you can really hear it in her own words through a droid, I suppose. Like you heard it from Alice earlier, but just so you could hear it again, you heard like her pleas. I can't let my line die with this, with my eggs. You know, just, you know, if they don't get there, and we can't have that happen.
I didn't even feel it as a plea, though.
But it was. But that's what made him get up and decide to start fixing his ship. So the whole thing that's carrying this story is that you care that this frog lady's children live, but they're using her frog children as comedic bait.
Yeah.
For you, like, but here's this little kid eating her children.
Yeah.
And how does she not? Like, there was a part where she's looking at her tube or whatever you calls it, container, and it was dropping down. And like,
that's when she realized, and she kind of gripped it tighter.
I wasn't sure if it was about temperature or if it showed her how many kids you got left. But that's the thing. As a character, like that part where she took over the mic for the robot, it made me like her less.
The whole thing made you like her. Like at that very point there at the end, you've got to be like, who gives a f*** about your kids? Or you're a asshole, Baby Yoda. Why do you keep eating her children?
Yeah.
This is her legacy. This is her life. This is what this whole mission's about. And you're just eating them?
Or Mando's a bad guardian?
Well, he's a guardian, but to his sense, like again, he says it before. In this episode, he tells you, he's like, I'm a taxi service.
Right. He's reluctant to do it. You're right.
Yeah, he's not like, I'll protect her, I'll protect the kids, whatever it takes to get this information, I'm going to do it. Everybody in this episode is reluctant to do what they need to do. And so the mom is somebody that you're supposed to care about. But for me, it was really hard to care about. Number one, okay, fine. Let's just disregard the fact that she's a female frog. Okay. She doesn't stop baby. She doesn't lash her tongue out at Baby Yoda to say, hey, stop eating my babies. When she takes over.
Yeah, she has no awareness of the number of babies she has.
Exactly. She doesn't. When she takes over the android's voice, which was creepy, but you saw it was cool. Like,
it was a way to make that android relevant again.
Make it relevant, but then she was like, hey, I want to make sure, like you said, I want to make sure this is important to me. But she didn't come off as someone who said, like, how I put this? If she had said in the speech, hey, I know we're in a tough spot and thank you for doing what you can do, but listen, like whatever it takes for me to help make sure that I can get my species to this planet to keep them alive, I will do it. I'm going through this or I'm going through that. You know what I'm saying? Like, then you're like, okay, yeah, frog lady, like if she says, hey, look, if my species doesn't make it, then I don't know, Rancor monsters run the planet. Okay, well now we know the importance of why your species needs to survive, right? In that point, there is no impressive.
There's no reason for the species to survive.
Yeah, there's nothing that makes me say, I'm only seeing you for one episode. I don't know you. Why do I need to care about you in this instance? Here's the one instance you got. It's like American Idol. Here's your chance to sing something. And then she sings the worst song ever. Not only that, but she tells you something like we already talked about. She tells you something you already know. But then she insults the guy that is risking his life to make sure
to help him out. Yeah,
so she's not even humble about it. She's just like, man, you a punk. Like, essentially, I mean, it was more colorful than that, but she was like, you a punk.
Yeah, she essentially, this is not the Mandalorian way that I knew of. Right. It was just fairy tales.
So she's not stepping up. She don't tell you how important it is for her kids to exist in the universe. She's not telling you anything where it's like, hey, look, I know how to fix a ship. I know how to use a blaster. I could use my tongue to, satisfy the ice spiders. Something like she literally tells you in that point, I have no relevance to this story whatsoever. All you gotta do is make sure Baby Yoda don't eat all my cheering in this Nerf ball thing.
And he's doing a piss poor job of that.
And
right? No kidding. Right?
So there's nothing about her that makes that episode relevant. I hated the second episode more because the goofy character in the first episode, I happen to like his show that he did before The Mandalorian a lot. So that carried it over.
The second episode was worse. But the second episode didn't have as many logical plot holes. Like, there was just not as much of an effort to give you a plot.
Is it fair enough to say, okay, that's a fair one. But is it fair enough to say that the second episode takes you out of it so much that you don't really care about what the plot holes are?
I care about moving the story arc of him getting Baby Yoda back to his people.
But like it's like Danny said earlier, like he said that way earlier, I think in pre-spoilers, and I cheered back here quietly. I was like, yes, that's the point. That can never happen. It cannot happen. Because
the minute he does it,
the show's over. And so like it's easier to just say it's easier to run across somebody who's a fake Baby Yoda.
So that means you're telling me that this whole entire Mandalorian series is based upon him getting Baby Yoda back to his people.
I'm saying no. I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying that that's a lie. I'm saying that we haven't seen what the real. That's a guess. I know.
I know what the true motive is.
We'll find. Okay.
I do know.
So do you think that Baby Yoda was like a side note, and then the merchandise hit so hard they're like, wait a minute?
No. I think Baby Yoda was meant to be a part of this from the get-go, and that's the idea, is that you have this single dad, traveling the universe, trying to prevent, it's like one man and a baby. Or one man and a Yoda.
One man and a Yoda, that's right.
One man and a child.
I think that's what it is. But to what Kevin was saying before, I don't think we've seen. It's like, our true enemy has yet to reveal himself.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the movie?
I don't know what the movie is.
It's The Godfather.
Godfather.
What's wrong with me? I'm Italian.
Yeah, Godfather.
Let me tell you. What's wrong with you?
Our true plot has not yet to reveal himself.
I don't think
that's what I think.
I don't think it reveals itself in this season.
But I think my question is that to keep me invested in the second season, shouldn't give me a tease or something.
I think that you're right. I think they're kind of working with this for a little bit, but I think this season is going to go elsewhere. Something else is going to occur where they're going to have to. Now this becomes the new motivation. Like right now, all you have is the motivation of getting Yoda back with his people. Well, I mean, clearly, once you do, if Mando finds a new sect of Yodas and just delivers them, that's it. The show's over. So you got to throw something else into it that's going to bring this someplace else, and they just haven't done it yet. So we're gonna, at some point in time, we're gonna get a subplot. I do think we're gonna get a subplot. I just don't know when, and I don't know what that's going to be, and I could be wrong.
I can tell you what, if they had resolved the Baby Yoda situation this season, I would be okay with that, as long as they start the resolution towards the reestablishment of the Mandalorian culture.
Let me say this, and I agree with you.
You know what I'm talking about? Because the Mandalorian culture used to be like a whole thing in and of itself, and to like a reestablishment of those people, I think would be the next step after resolving the whole Baby Yoda thing.
Well, can I just say this? Here's a little story for the glory. There's only 8 episodes.
Only 8, you're right.
And first of all, that's terrible. That's good and terrible. You need to have way more than that.
Well, there's a year between series, so it's like, that's tough.
But even then, when you make a streaming service, to go back to the initial question when we were doing the pre-spoilers, you know how the system of streaming services work. You make all your stuff, and you lay it out. You say, that's right there in your face. Watch as much of it as you need. Now, with 8 episodes, let me tell you, season 2 for most shows are very tough, because you spend the first season saying, here are the characters, here are the villains, here's the plot, here's the world, here's the set pieces. You have to lay all that out. The second season is very tough to watch in most shows, but you can't really do that in 8 episodes, because in the second season, you have to you're free from establishing who the character is.
Can I ask Kevin a question real quick? Kev, so what happens? Like, or what you're saying that you would be cool with it if he finds somebody, drops off Baby Yoda, and we get onto the Mandalorian, and Baby Yoda's nowhere to be found?
Yes, actually.
Somebody.
If they take it, well, yeah, it's true. Because if they take it to the next level of reestablishing the Mandalorian culture.
You like the culture of the Mandalorian.
And I'm basing it off of Clone Wars, because they used to be a thing. They were a big thing.
And that's what I heard him say. Yes. And I just, look, I hope you're right. I doubt you are.
I agree with you. I want to say I agree with you.
Because I do think that this Baby Yoda thing is a gimmick. But the longer it goes, the more this gimmick is tied into the fabric of it's like Urkel. He was a next door neighbor, and next thing you know, he was 90% of Family Matters, and they could not get rid of him. I mean, once that cutesy character, once Rudy took over the Cosby Show, That was it.
Did y'all want to do that?
It's good. Yeah, you only have 8 episodes.
My only hope is that Dave Filoni will not let that completely happen, but allow the Mandalorian to progress somehow. Well, do I think you're right? Absolutely, you're probably right. They're going to ride that Baby Yoda thing to him.
No, but you're not. You're always right about the wrong stuff.
I know
this.
I'm always right about the wrong things.
Now let's do this. Let's take the artistic, and it's just one aspect. It's a tool. Let's back out of it, and then let's look at the expansion of it as a business. Disney Plus, that's our business. The Mandalorian, the only show that really carries Disney Plus forward, right?
That's right.
Now, if you are over Disney Plus and the Mandalorian is your workhorse, you make sure the horse works. That means that in 8 episodes, they're not going to resolve this arc. I can't see it. You know what I'm saying?
But I think what you're missing out on is that the vast majority of Star Wars fans are just so loyal to Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that.
That just give me something.
I didn't say it's not produced well. I didn't say visually.
Right, the visual spectacle, the music, the production value, it's all top notch.
Yeah, I didn't say it was garbage. I ain't say it was garbage. Let me just preface that. I didn't say that.
Even though we spent like the last 2 hours bashing, it feels like it. I mean, at worst, this is a C.
Oh, I'd agree with that.
Okay, wait. I give the second episode C-. I give episode 1 a B.
So an average of a C+.
I would give first one, I would give it a C+, second one, C+.
Yeah, I give it a B-, and the second episode like a D+.
I'm gonna give it 2 C's. CC's Pizza.
2 C's.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, I would probably do like a C+ for the first episode, and then like a D+.
Damn.
So like a C average. Yeah,
C+, D+. Yeah, did I do that right? First, second.
I can see D.
A C average. Yeah,
because the Mandalorian did nothing in that cycle. He fixed the ship and he held off stuff,
and he flew off in a junky ass ship.
But he didn't save the day. Like that's the thing.
Well, he doesn't always need to save the day.
He needs to be part of the day saving, though.
He was part of the day saving.
No, he got
He
saved.
did stop them from getting he secluded them in the cockpit from all the spiders.
He did the fire and all that stuff.
He got them out of the predicament with the.
Okay, what would have been better?
If second episode hadn't done it all, that would have been.
Well, that absolutely. If he had fixed the ship completely, had one more thing to fix, and then like all this stuff happened, he takes all the aliens, backs them off, fixes the last piece. Goes off into space. It's junky, but then when the X-Men fighters show up, they tell him the same dialogue, and then he's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then they say, hey, look, you cool, just, be cool. And then he flies off. At least in that instance, he doesn't defeat Mama Spider, but he saves the day. I guess that's my point. In the end for this one, and that's the only thing for me that killed it, is that he had to be saved.
Well, but again, he was saved by the child in the second episode.
Oh, with the Rhino thing?
Yeah.
Nah, Rhino thing, like it saved him, but the baby
he was
Yoda
saved
still
by the other Mandalorians, and
no, he was part of that war with the other Mandalorians. That's my point.
No, but the other Mandalorians came to his aid.
They came to his aid, but then he participated in the war. In this one, he doesn't participate in how to get out of the finale.
I would say he killed 90% of the spiders.
That's fair. I will argue it. We are arguing it, but you know what I'm saying.
I would have liked the spider scene to never have happened.
I'm with you.
And I would have liked Mandalorian and the X-Wing guys to be like, yeah, I'm wanted, but hey, look, you saved these dudes. You're cool. We're okay with that. It will let you pass through. And then Mando be like, I'm looking for a Mandalorian. Can you help me? And then the X-Wing fighters help him find the next Mandalorian that progresses that whole plot about him taking him back. I would have liked that.
That's the problem, is you're looking for them to progress the plot, and they're trying to stall
they're
it.
they're trying to stretch it out.
Way that they can.
You're right.
You watch any TV show in streaming, second season's at least, you need at least 14 to 20 episodes.
The sophomore season, as it were.
Yeah, it'll kick off with the third season, hopefully. But let me ask y'all this. What's worse? The Big Now Win one or this one?
Oh, I'm trying to remember what happened on that.
The one where he has to like hunt with that other bounty hunter kid.
Yeah, that awkward child dude that.
And Ming-Na Wen was after them with the child.
I'd probably say just for sheer cringe moments, this one.
As far as being the worst
Season
one?
2, episode 2.
Yeah, season 2, episode 2. As far as the cringe, like the only thing that made me cringe in that other one that you just referenced was that kid's bad act.
I'm with you though. I think this one was worse than that one. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. This season 2, episode 2 is more cringeworthy than the Ming-Na Wen episode, because in that season I can buy there are going to be people that are after the Mandalorian because of what he did to that in episode 3, which is like freaking go against the code and all the guild and all that kind of stuff. So I can buy that, but this, if it didn't happen, I'd be okay with it.
Well, you know, when your plot device is also your comedy fodder, that's a problem. When those eggs are supposed to be the thing that makes you care and drives the plot forward, it makes you care that he saves and then gets him off that ice planet, so that way the species doesn't die while a child is just gobbling him up like Snickers. Then you've got a problem. When your comedic fodder and your plot device are one and the same.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, man, that is the beginning of The Mandalorian.
And we want it to get better. We're rooting for it to get better.
Yeah, we're hoping there's 6 more episodes, and we're curious to see where they take it. Overall, it sounds like episode 2 was very underwhelming. Would we all agree with that?
Hey, look, Mando helped me and my daughter watch something together.
Yeah, okay,
so
that's good.
I take a good part in that.
Good news is that, look, hey, no matter how much we might not like where they're taking this, or we might have problems with the logic of where they're taking this, the visual aspects of this, the art of this, it's stunning.
Yeah,
it
when he shoots out the demon's mouth, that was awesome.
It's almost like it's unbelievable that this is a TV show.
That is very true.
This is what qualifies
Yeah.
as a TV show in today's world.
The quality of graphics and picture is amazing. So I can understand there's a lot of money invested in those 8 episodes.
Considering that we just talked about the Hulk, which had the exact opposite production value.
Yes.
Which was some dude in green paint and cut off jean shorts.
And contact lenses.
And yak hair.
And yak hair, yeah.
I do it all for you.
Absolutely. Guys,
All for you.
my weekends, ladies and gentlemen, we're curious to know what you think, and we're about to tell you on how to do that in just a little bit. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed that discussion about The Mandalorian Season 2. If you want to learn more about us, magicourway.com is the way to go. There you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and more. You can also get in touch with us through the following ways to share your opinion. You can shoot us the email at show@magicourway.com. Leave us a voicemail via our SpeakPipe widget, or you can call or text us. Yes, I did say text at 1-815-A-WEEKEND. That's 1-815
Mandalorian
669-4226. And of course, we have a couple of guys that do things outside of the podcast. First of all, we got Eli does things with comics. Here we go.
Hey, Rob Liefeld here. Deadpool, Cable, X-Force, Domino, Marvel Comics, Image Comics, all of it. You guys, what is up? Eli Ivory. What a great name. Eli Ivory, comic guru. I'm here to talk about you. I am here to say, check out ivorycomics.com. That's right, you. Check out ivorycomics.com. ivorycomics.com. If you're not doing that, you're missing out. You're missing out. The Savages comic cannot be beat, cannot be surpassed. You need to check it out, experience it for yourself, and you know the story. It's all about the glory. Congrats to you and all the magic that you're making with your Ivory Comics. Eli Ivory, comic book guru. Check out ivorycomics.com, comic book guru. Eli Ivory, the whole package. Deadpool said to. Do it. ivorycomics.com right now. Liefeld out.
Yeah. You always know where you can find me. You can always go to the Ivory Comics website. You can check out the work. Just like Rob told you, that dude knows what he's talking about. That's a guru talking about another guru. And of course, you can always find a link to this podcast so you never miss a beat. It's good all around. Check that out, okay? You can also find me on Facebook. So Eli H. Iris, where you find me there. I've been posting up stuff and, whatnot when I can. Hope you like it. Project Geisha has a Facebook page. Check that out. So Facebook.com/Project Geisha. Instagram, EIB504. I'm following you. I'm watching what you're doing. I'm watching you posting up your Halloween decorations and hanging out with your girlfriends, boyfriends, and posting up the likes. So EIB504. You can find me there. And, of course, on Twitter, you can find me at Hancock10166. So if you appreciate the madness, then you just bringing me the gladness. Thank you very much. And I sure do love some Raylan Gibbons. That's right. It's a good show right there. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Can I tell you, like, whenever people, like, your intro has messed me up now. Like,
why?
Because when people come up to me and like, hey, man, what's up? I said, Eli Ivory.
You're missing out. You're missing out. Can I tell you?
You're missing
what
out.
a great name. Eli Ivory.
That's right.
Like, I seriously, that part where he's like, you're missing out. You're missing out. That sticks in my head like subconsciously. Like there was this girl I was trying to hit on. I'm not lying to you. There was something happened. I was hitting on this chick, and she's like, "Yeah, but I don't know. I got this man." And like Rob Liefeld's voice popped in my head. I was like, "You're missing out. You're missing out."
Yeah, that works.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So check it out.
And look, if you want to book a vacation to Walt Disney World so you can not miss out on all the action that's happening down there, you can do so through Lee of Magical Moments Vacations. Lee, tell them how to do this.
Just give me a call at 832-431-1621. That's 832 Leguizamo shot first. 832 LGZ SHT FST. Email me at lee@magicourway.com. Facebook, you can find me at facebook.com/Lastovica Travel. That's LASTOVICA Travel. Instagram, you can find me at You Got a Friend in Lee Travel. If you do any of that, we'll get you hooked up and booked up with no
Hasselvika.
In addition, there are so many ways to support the show as a whole, and you can find them all on our website, magicourway.com. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. We also want to take a second and thank you for being a loyal listener, and we love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are always welcome in the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So more weekends. Ladies and gentlemen, we say Kwaharini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
I have every intention of eating those bananas for breakfast, but I still somehow end up with tacos.
Manta burritos.